Hi there, season's greetings and happy holidays, and welcome back to another video from Lottiejasminedesigns. In this video, Wayne is going to be demonstrating how to make some really lovely Christmas themed earrings. So he's going to use some of these open back bezels. We've got them in gold tone and silver tone, and everything that we use in this video is going to be listed in this description box down below. So we're going to do 2 pairs in each colourway. 2 in the gold and 2 in the silver tone. We're also going to be using some UV resin and also some nice little embellishments to go into these shapes themselves. So the idea of using the tape, and as you can see it's a little bit fiddly, the tape is very, very sticky. You put your open back bezels or whatever you're going to use down onto it. You can press it down, but it's so sticky. Quite often you don't need to do that, but press them down, make sure they've got a complete adhesion to the tape. That creates a barrier, so no resin is going to escape underneath it and out onto your surface. Now we've got these lovely, I don't know if you call them reindeer or stag or elk or whatever you want to call them, or deer themselves. So beautiful gold holographic effect. Now obviously when you're making these, they're going, and these obviously these are earrings, you need to have a mirror image of what is in your right ear needs to mirror what is in your left ear, vice versa. So don't go sticking them down all going in one direction. But I mean, you know, you can do that if that's what you want to do. But as you can see, these are a little bit tricky to use, particularly with the tweezers. I think he's doing a pretty good job here. Patience and perseverance, I think is the right term there. I mean, if you don't want to use the tweezers to put these in, you don't have to. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing and what you can do depending on your levels of manual dexterity, I think they call it. Anyway, that's enough waffle about that. So then beneath that, he decided to use these beautiful, now these aren't gold, these are actually a silver tone, and they are, I think, confetti stars or stars. And they are silver, but they've got that holographic sort of shine and sheen to them. So just placing them down. You can be quite random, or you can have them so the point is pointing directly upwards, or not. It's totally up to you. Try and get them so that you've got 2 that are the same and that they mirror the other side, which I believe is what Wayne has managed to do. So there we are. This is just a bit of more of a close-up shot. Now in this little mixing cup, he's going to place some of this beautiful, like snowy white glitter. I think that was purchased from the Range, which is a high street shop here in the UK. So just zoomed out a bit so you can see a bit more about what's going on here. And on the right hand side there at the top of the screen, you can see the UV lamp, which we use to cure the resin. So just obviously that's been sped up. He doesn't stir quite that quickly. So stirred it up into the UV resin, and then carefully, again this has been sped up, poured out some of the UV resin glitter mix into each of the bezels. Now, as long as you don't pour over the edges of the bezels, the resin should stay within it. It's a bit like if you're creating like a doming coating of resin, or if you've ever made cabochons or anything else. So it's just making sure that he's got as much out of that little mixing jug as possible. And there we go. So as you can see, what's going to happen is we're going to use the UV light to place it carefully over the 2 pairs of earrings that he's making. And he's selected 60 seconds to start with. Oh, sorry about that. Don't know what happened there with the camera. I think this has been sped up because that's a lot quicker than 60 seconds. And then again, And is he going to go for a third lot of 60 seconds? Possibly. I mean, you need to do it for as long as it takes. Yes, he did. For as long as it takes for the resin to cure. And obviously you can do that little test where you tap it with the end of, we've got these, I want to call them pokey tools, but just, you know, you just need to make sure that it is completely cured. And those look gorgeous. And then what he's actually going to do now is do not do this unless you've completely cured them on one side, otherwise you will mark the surface of the resin. He is now curing the underside of the bezels. You must do this. If you don't, you risk it not curing all the way through, and it'll be tacky underneath, and it will remain tacky, and that is not going to look good on your finished piece. So there we go. He's just curing that. He's probably selected the 60 seconds. There we go. Oh, and again, I think he probably, as I say, you'll have to forgive me. I haven't watched this video all the way through. There we go. 30 seconds. There we go. I only did it for the 2 this time. 2 lots of 30 seconds underneath. So all he's doing, we don't have any resin on the back side of this tape. But we do have resin obviously underneath, which is what he was trying to cure. So then, having of course turned it over, I'm going to turn it back the right way. And he's just now removing, see how sticky this tape is, carefully removing each of the earrings, each of the bezels. And there we go. He's just checking whether or not he's happy with it. And there, as you can see, you've got the beautiful little, let's call them reindeer, dancing reindeer, with this beautiful holographic stars. Now, you can go in and you can dome the other side of the resin if you want to. I mean, Wayne decided he wasn't quite happy, so he has now, using the UV resin, just carefully pushing it out to the outside. I mean, in all honesty, he was quite confident about doing this. I mean, as well, you'll notice he's not wearing gloves. He really should be, just in case his fingers come into contact with the resin, but he felt confident about not using them. But I would advise that you do, and you follow all the usual PPE rules, guidance when using resin, and so on. So he's just put another coat of UV resin on those. It's going to cure them again using the light, and then he's going to check them. So you can see at the moment, well, not at the moment, but they are starting to look more like pendants, perhaps. I mean, by all means, you could use these. You could turn them into pendants if you didn't want them as earrings. You could use them as decorations to hang from a Christmas tree, or to decorate a garland or a tray. Or, to be honest, the list of ways that you could use them is endless. So, happy with the way that they're both cured, that it's all completely cured. And then you can see he's got his earring findings. He's using a handheld battery-operated drill, with a very, very fine drill bit. Now, go careful. Please go careful. Put them, if you've got a little mini vise or something called a helping hands tool, put it in that, or put it straight down onto your working bench. Make sure that you've selected the slowest setting possible, and then press the button, and it will drill just down from the top of the bezel or the earring, and there you go. You see, it's just, and there it goes all the way through. You need this because you need to put a jump ring, which are those rings up in the top of the screen there, through this, and then onto the earring finding that goes through your ear. Now, another thing you could do, you could actually place it flat down onto the surface, put a piece of plasticine or blue tack and you could drill down into it that way. You could also use, if you don't have a battery operated drill, you can use a handheld drill or a reamer if you have such of one of those things. So we've opened up the jump ring. I'm just trying, again this is a little bit fiddly, just trying to put it through the top of the earring there, through the hole. When you open jump rings, do not pull them apart from one another, directly horizontally. You need to do it like you're opening a door. So you can use 2 pairs of the jury pliers. You can push with your right hand away from you and with your left hand towards you slightly, and that will open up the jump ring link as well. And then you put the shepherd's hook earring finding onto it, which is the bit that goes through the ear, and then you close the jump ring back up. Make sure it's tightly closed. I think he's just going to possibly show you another one. Here we go. So we're putting the drill hole through the top. There we go. And don't forget he made 2 pairs of these. So that's another one. And then through. Obviously this has been sped up. You wouldn't work this quickly. It's just not possible. So just putting the jump rings through the tops. Placing the ear wire, or the earring finding or the ear wire through. Those are called shepherd's hook earring findings. Yeah. Ooh. Now, spoiler alert. In fact, some of you may have spotted it already. Realised that we hadn't quite done exactly what we needed to do with the earring findings. This next section of film has been sped up because it's a repeating of processes that we've already talked about, told you how to do. All we're doing is we're using one embellishment that's different, which is the pearl looking snowflake and the silver holographic star in the top, and obviously we're using here the silver coloured open back bezels. And then the other processes are exactly the same with the UV resin and also a little bit of glitter in it, and the curing of them using the UV lamp. Now, as I was saying before, you need to make sure that when you put your earring finding through your jump ring and through the earring itself, the open back bezel or whatever you're using, that they are then facing the right way. Now, because we introduced a jump ring, we completely forgot about this. And when we put the earring wire or the shepherd's hook onto the jump ring, we realised instead of the earrings facing forwards, they were facing themselves. In on themselves. They would be facing your side profile rather than forwards when you are wearing them. So you can either add another jump ring in, and then they'll be the right way round before you then add on the earring finding, the shepherd's hook ear wire that goes to your ear, or you can very carefully rotate the loop that is on the earring finding around, I think it's 90 degrees, so that then the earrings are facing forwards. But be careful if you do that, because depending on the thickness of the wire of the earring findings will depend on whether or not they then snap. So as I say, probably just go back, add in another jump ring and then add on the earring finding, and it will be absolutely fine. So as you can see here in this one, he is just carefully adding in these the earring findings to them, to the open back bezels themselves. So thanks again everyone for tuning in. This video a little bit longer than usual, but there's quite a lot of processes to follow and the 2 different colorways that we've done it in. Please like, share and subscribe, and